On today's video, I'm gonna be doing something I've been waiting years to do, and with the price of silver so high, I think I can finally do this at a profit. I have a bunch of material that came from old film developing stuff. It has a ton of silver in it. It looks like junk, but I'm hoping to recover about $2,500 worth of silver today. Cross your fingers for us, because if there's no silver in here, we got a problem. Let me show you what I got, and then I'll walk you through the process. So here's what we're dealing with. This is apparently the buckets that the film development solution would go through after they used up as much of the silver as they could or something. This was where the waste solution was dealt with. There used to be a bunch of iron mesh in here, and when the solution came in, I think it was silver, you know, Harry, silver chloride, silver nitrate?
No,
something.
I don't remember.
It was some.
This is like a silver. I don't know.
It was
some
silver liquid mineral compound molecule. It would come in here and it would react with the iron, and it would drop out on the iron mesh, and the iron would go into solution, and they would scavenge their silver this way. I have a little bit here. It looks like dirt. I have a bunch here. The goal today is to get all this stuff melted down and figure out how much silver we can recover. I've got Harry with Mine Operator here helping me today, so he's gonna help me do the heavy lifting and the pouring. Let's see how much silver we can get from this stuff and see if we can make a profit doing it. I've got a couple other videos going on today, so you'll hear the smelting furnace going when I'm trying to tell you about what's going on here. Just hang with me. And I've got some other really cool videos that are coming up, so stay tuned for those if you haven't seen them already. But now let's go measure out a test batch. We're gonna try and do 500 grams of this stuff. I'll mix up some flux and we'll figure out what it looks like at 500 grams so we don't screw up kilograms of this stuff on our first go. All right, we're gonna start, like I said, with a 500 gram sample or thereabout. I think, I don't know, we'll see volume wise how much 500 grams is. Oh, that's 600. I don't know if we're supposed to touch that. There's 500. Okay, there's 500, and then this is some pre-mixed, this way, some pre-mixed refining flux, mostly borax, a little bit of oxidizer, trying to oxidize away some of that iron. And I don't know, Harry, let's do, the smart thing would be to add 500 grams of this as well. Let's do that. Let's just add 500 grams. So we're looking for 1,000 total. This is a terrible pouring bucket. Let's do this. I'm gonna do another 250 because we live dangerously here.
I probably would have dumped all of it in the crucible and just gone for it.
Just tried it?
Yeah.
Okay, that's 250. And now I'll do another 250 of this. All right. So we're doing a total of 750 grams of material. Perfect. Okay, now, again, this is our little test. Oh, I didn't bring a lid. Oh yeah, and then right into a crucible. It has a little smell to it. I don't know, it smells like, I don't know, Harry, how would you describe it? Almost like a toner. It smells like toner or something like out of printers.
Yeah, it does.
It reminds me of that.
Yeah, like after you print a bunch of paper.
Yeah, it's like almost sweet.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's probably highly toxic.
Probably terrible for you. Yeah, don't do this.
Don't try this at home.
Yeah, watch me drop to the floor here in 30 seconds. I didn't see a bunch of metal spewing out of there.
No.
So I don't know where all the silver is. I didn't see metal come streaming out of the crucible like I wanted, so we'll let that cool down, break it up, and we'll see if we got any or how big our pyramid of silver is at the bottom. Again, I didn't see any pour out, but cross your fingers for us, because if there's no silver in here, we got a problem. Hey, there's no silver.
So nice glass though.
Yeah, it's a great looking slag. But where's our? Oh, is that a button? Oh, there's a little bit of silver in there. Wait a minute. What am I looking at here? What happened? Is this?
That's it. That's your junk.
Is this it?
Yeah. Is it heavy?
Kind of. I don't know what's. Well, that's not very good.
How many grams?
750.
750.
We got 20 grams of silver.
Okay.
So that's oh, hold on. Is this silver? Why can't I?
It looks soft.
This feels like lead. I wonder if there's lead contamination from our last couple
Well,
of
you
smelts.
just collected whatever was in there, and you have to repeat the test now.
Yeah, yes, I do have to repeat the test, but where did all the silver go?
It looks good. I mean,
Yeah, it's a great glass, yeah.
Hmm.
I wonder.
Mystery.
That kind of throws a wrench in our plans here, Harry.
I would have just thrown it all in one big crucible.
I just gone to town. I wonder if we need to get that mesh stuff I was talking about in there, because that's where the silver is plated out on.
Mm.
I wonder if the dirt doesn't have anything in it. It's the silver mesh.
I have no idea.
I don't know either.
Well, that bucket, I don't know if that bucket's the same material as what's in the bigger one. Maybe try the bigger one.
Yeah, let's try it. Well, yeah, let's try a sample of the bigger stuff. So here's that other full thing, and I don't know. There's different colors in there, and some blacks, some browns. I know there's silver in this because I've smelted some of this down before and got silver. So we're gonna try, I don't know, 750 gram sample. Okay, we got 800 grams of silver stuff. So we're gonna do 800 grams of flux. Whoop! Oh! 900 grams of flux.
There you go.
This bucket has holes in it. I don't like it. There we go. Put it in there. Smelt it down. It's still pretty warm. Let's see if I can do this without making a big mess. Uh-oh. Don't breathe that.
Deep breath. Oh yeah, smells like sulfides.
Oh no. We just had a crucible failure in there with that second silver smelt. Ran all over the furnace, all over the ground. It was in the side of the crucible though, not the bottom. And so even though we leaked out a bunch of slag, I poured it real quick into the cone mold. Again, I did not see any metal come out, so I don't know what we're doing with the silver. But that's why you're not gonna see the second pour of the silver experiment. I'll show you what happens, what comes out of the cone mold, and if there's no silver, I don't know where my silver is. I'll have to do something else. This might be a video of where did my silver go. What is that? That's not silver. I'll show you the bead we got from our film stuff. Not very impressive. That's all we got from our 500 grams, 700 gram smelts, something. Those are called silver sprouts. The texture on the surface, it's where the silver dissolves oxygen when it's molten, and as it cools, it releases the oxygen and sprays molten silver everywhere. So those are called silver sprouts. Here's our button. It weighs a grand total of 11 grams. So that's like $20 worth of silver. It didn't even pay for propane, hardly. So yeah, that's what we got. All right, guys, I don't know where the silver went. What's going on with my silver stuff? The silver cells right there, I swear I refined those years ago in another video, and there was a bunch of silver in there, and now I can't find it. What is going on? This video is how not to get your silver out of film refining stuff. I don't know what to say. I may, just because this video turned out terribly, I may just put that silver video from years ago right after this one, and you guys can see what I did, and then we can figure out what the heck's going on with this silver, because there's no silver in this stuff. So thanks everybody for watching. Stay tuned right after this clip to see what I did years ago, and I got a bunch of silver if I remember correctly. So thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you on the next video. Hey guys, my name is Jason with Mount Baker Mining and Metals, and on today's video we're going to be smelting down some silver from some of this old film canister stuff. I've got some of that stuff chunked up here, and you can see it's kind of crystalline. It's a little bit damp, so I'm going to heat it up slow so we don't get a bunch of gas and water vapor coming off real fast. This is just anhydrous borax, so I'm going to mix that in. I've done some tests on this, and I don't need very much. So I'm just going to layer some as I go. I got a little bit on the bottom there. I'll throw some of that in there, and we'll get her filled up to, I don't know, 2/3 or 3/4 of the way full. So yeah, there's your hot lava.
Yeah. So it's actually turning into black glass right now.
Yeah, as it cools, it'll turn into a black glass, and all our silver's right down there at the bottom of that cone. It'll take a little while to cool, obviously, but when it's cool, then I'll just tip the whole thing over right on the concrete, and the glass will probably shatter, and at the bottom there'll be our silver pyramid.
About an hour to cool.
Probably. So for our next batch here, I run it through the jaw crusher. It's all about 1/4 inch minus, and I've mixed in anhydrous borax again. That's all I'm using for a flux. It's just borax. It's about 1 part film residue to 1 part borax. It's obviously not silver. It's kind of a dull matte brown. And I think that's because of the iron in there. So let's try and put some of this in muriatic acid and see if we can dissolve some of that iron out. But another interesting thing that happened is after I poured that metal into the water, there was still some junk in the bottom of that crucible. And it was there's definitely metal down there. And I wanted to make sure I got all my silver out. And so what I did is I added some lead to that to reduce the melting point of whatever was down there. And I think it was just a higher iron content, and it wasn't melting because I didn't have my temperature really high. So I added a little bit of lead, got it all melted down, and so poured a second batch into some water. So I've got 2 of these. I'm going to add muriatic acid to both of them. We'll do a little test and see if it works. This is muriatic acid, and I've got a couple pieces in there. And it doesn't seem like there's any reaction happening at all. And my hope is that there was enough iron on the surface that it would fizz and bubble and get some of that iron out of there. What I think is happening, and this is good news actually, is that the iron content is so low that it's mostly silver. Let me go back to the drawing board here and see if I can figure out a way to get more of that iron out of there before I put it in the cupel. What I'm going to try next, since that muriatic acid didn't work, is I've got all our cornflake silver in a number 12 crucible, and I've added a whole bunch of potassium nitrate. I may need to add some borax after it gets up to temperature. So there's our metal block. We started with about 1.1 kilograms worth of stuff. We're currently at 1.3, and I've added about 400 grams of lead. So our total loss so far is about 200 grams. I'm expecting that was from iron loss from our oxidation and stuff that we did. So now we got to take this and get our pure silver out of it, get rid of the lead, get rid of the rest of the iron. I'm going to get some Portland cement, and I'm just going to make a little dished concave bowl here. Just need a bowl shape. I'll put the furnace back together here, and we'll get her fired up. We're going to get it up to about 1800 degrees or so. This was not as easy as I thought it was going to be. There was a huge amount of iron in there, and it took me forever to get the iron oxide scraped off, to get the lead exposed, to start driving the lead oxide and any other little base metals that were in there. This is how much I scraped off. Once I exposed the lead, it started driving and going. But I've got about 300 grams of iron oxide here mostly. And what I'm going to try and do is smelt this now, because hopefully all the iron's oxidized. I'm going to use some borax and a little crucible. Over here, you can see what came out. And here's a cross section of what that looks like. And that silver wafer sitting, right here on top. And then the lead oxide has permeated into the Portland cement down there, maybe an inch. All right, I got our 3 things in here. I've got the silver and a little bit of borax down the bottom of that crucible there. I've got our iron oxide skimmings from the cupel. And then I've got our Portland cement with a bunch of those little silver beads in it with some borax, and that has borax and a little bit of soda ash in it. Here's a block I got out of the cupel with all those little silver beads. I smelted that down with some borax and soda ash, and I got this little button here in our cone mold. Weighs about 50 grams. I suspect it's about half to a third lead by weight. And then this one is from the oxide stuff that I scraped off the cupel, and it's really pretty interesting. I had 300 grams to start with. I ended up with 250 grams of this stuff. And it looks like it's lead and iron mixed. It's not pure lead. It's not soft. It's real brittle and hard. All right, here's our silver block. There we go. Turned out real nice. Let's see how much he weighs. Right about 750 grams. So that's pretty cool. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.